and that I do spend $3,000 a month on. So one of the major things that hit me pretty much right after graduating was that of finances. Throughout college, I could live pretty minimally, and if you're in college right now, you could sort of get what I mean. Like, I could live mostly off what I earned during the summer, during internships, or, you know, the occasional gift from the holidays or some savings. And especially towards the latter half of my senior year, when I was living with my mom, I didn't have to pay rent and she did a lot of the cooking, so didn't have to spend too much money during that time. But since moving to Seattle and starting to work full time and actually having to be an adult, I actually started budgeting. Good first step to being an adult, I think. I thought this video could be useful to other new graduates or current college students in case you want to sort of just compare spending habits, or maybe just for people who want a little peek into that new grad life. And I know for me, I still literally have no idea how much money is too much to spend on food, how much is too little. Like, what's a good amount? Like, what do people spend on food? Am I spending too much on food? Am I spending too little on food? Like, am I unnecessarily cutting things out? Like, how much is too much? Just as a disclaimer, I am very much not a personal finance expert. And if you do want personal finance advice, I highly suggest checking out one of my favorite channels, Graham Stephan. Graham, please notice me. He makes great videos about personal finance and very tangible things. I've learned a lot from him, so if you actually do want personal advice versus like pure entertainment value, definitely go check out his videos. And also, spending habits will greatly vary based on, you know, where you live and what you do. So my spending habits could be drastically different from your current or future spending habits. So last month I tracked literally every purchase I made. So here's how much I spend in a month as a new grad in Seattle. So first, all the purchases that I made in the month, I grouped into categories. So first, we're just gonna take a little broad perspective and see a nice pie chart that I made. It's nice and animated about how much I spend on each category. Also, because, you know, normal PowerPoints and pie charts are boring, I got this nice lo-fi animated rain gif in the background. You know, it rains a lot in Seattle, so I thought it was applicable, so let's just hop into it. All right, so the first expense is rent. As you can see, I pay $1162.50 per month. I rent one room in a 4-bedroom house up in Seattle. I'm actually pretty lucky because this is, you know, relatively low rent for the area. It'll depend on if you like roommates or not, but I always like seeing people, you know, even if it's just around the house, especially when everyone's working from home and it's easy to get isolated and stuff like that, or to feel lonely. So having roommates I do enjoy, and it also really drives down all of the rent and utility costs. So I'm really, really thankful for that. And I think, like, compared to what I paid in San Diego, so I split a house between like 5 other people. So there I paid like $835. So this is slightly more expensive, but I'm also splitting it with less people, so it kind of makes sense. But we got food. I know. $447.45 is how much I spent last month. I tracked every single food purchase I made. Again, is that like too much? Like, I think that's too much. I was budgeting for about $100 a week maybe, and that includes, you know, grocery shopping, you know, going to cafes, going out to eat, dates, things like that. So I feel like $447, like, it's all right. I mean, I could probably get that down a little bit. So, all right, next. So miscellaneous, so that sort of includes like pretty much anything that I couldn't really think of into a specific category. So whether that's like, oh, I need more face wash, I can go to CVS and get that, or I need like floss or mouthwash, or if I buy a video game, so things like that. So I'm actually gonna go into, in the latter half of this video, every single purchase I made. So if you wanna see specifically what qualifies as miscellaneous, you can see it there. Just know that in this category, it's mostly just like random things that I didn't really know where to put, if I buy like a shirt somewhere, things like that. So utilities, also pretty cheap compared to when I was living in California, where water was like super expensive. So I paid $107.44 for this month's of utilities. So that includes like internet, gas, water, electricity, garbage, I think too. So that includes everything. I'm glad it's not crazy expensive, because sometimes utilities can get kind of out of control, honestly. I know like 1 month in California, we just had like a lot of people using a lot of water, and I think it was like $200 per person just for the water. Like, it was crazy. So this is an interesting one, work from home reimbursed. So these are expenses that I feel like I could get reimbursed from working from home. So where I work, they give you a, you know, specific amount that you're allowed to reimburse as a part of the work from home policy. So this included like a bunch of HDMI cords that I'll get into in the latter half of this video, as well as like I had to get a new mouse. I got a wireless one, but it's like a gaming mouse, so I wasn't totally sure if I could reimburse that, but my other mouse broke, so I just had to get a new one. And so that's mostly what it was, is like cords, mice, like extra things to just work from home. Then we see Acorns. So I have Acorns set up so it automatically, you know, withdraws, I think $5 a week, which I know isn't a ton. I just set it at that initially. To be automatically invested into, I think it's different ETFs. Then we got Amazon Prime, so that includes both the Amazon Prime shipping and then as well as Amazon Video. I do need to cancel that subscription because honestly, like, I thought Amazon Video comes with Amazon Prime. And also, I think they're charging me too much because I had the student Amazon Prime for a while, and even when I had that, they were charging me like the regular amount, so gotta get that checked out. But those are my major subscriptions. We also see gas. I'm not driving anywhere, so I really only have to pay for gas like one time a month, and I paid 20 bucks. And then Spotify, of course, so $4.99 a month. So there is one big purchase that I didn't track here, and that I do spend $3,000 a month on. So, but I didn't put it on this graph because it makes like literally everything else look tiny. But here, I'll show you guys the next graph that includes the $3,000. So this is the new graph. So we see rent, we see all this other stuff that I had before, and bang. So you might be wondering, why are you spending $3,000 on the loan every month? This is my total spending per month. My last one was everything but the loan because it was just easier to read. But as you can see, $3,000 is part of my student loan. Now that's definitely not a minimum payment. That is like I don't have minimum payments for very many months, but it's basically an aggressive strategy that I'm taking in order to pay off my student loans as quick as possible. So I do have a pretty decent sizable amount of loans, but fortunately my job that I have right now allows me, or you know, it's fairly good compensation, so I can contribute $3,000 or more per month and still live relatively comfortably. Right now, I'm trying to take advantage of the CARES Act, where interest rates are suspended for all student loans, and then post, I think, December 31st, 2020, the interest rates will be extremely low. So I just want to take advantage of that so I, you know, don't end up spending a lot of money on interest rate. I think my highest interest rate is 7%, which is kind of high. So I definitely want to pay that 7% interest rate loan down at least first before I start contributing to other areas, maybe like investments or more savings. Okay, so I moved my camera so you guys could see it. So up here, we just have the graph again, just in a 3D format. I started tracking my expenses for October, and then here's literally everything I purchased in September of 2020. All right, so if we're just gonna go one by one, we see, you know, miscellaneous. So this is what I was talking about before. So it's like, you know, batteries, here's my rent payment, Amazon Prime $13.85, groceries. So I'm honestly trying to spend less on groceries because I feel like it's sometimes a little too much. I've been going to Trader Joe's a lot, and I feel like once you move to a new area, you have to kind of get into the rhythm of what are you gonna actually make for food. So in college, I would just like eat random stuff all the time, but now I actually have to like plan stuff out. So, you know, eating pasta lasts a while, and then like eggs, bread, milk, like basic stuff like that. So as you'll see, like my grocery bill usually gets a little bit lower as the month goes on, just because I get a little bit more adapted. So, you know, shelves, I bought some nice shelves. Oh, you can actually see one in the back over there. I bought some nice shelves from IKEA. So there's definitely non-recurring costs that I spend per month, and you got to account for that because no one can just strictly spend like nothing on anything else that you don't plan for. Like you'll see as we get on, like I had to buy some medicine occasionally, so that was in the miscellaneous category too, because I don't really know when I'm gonna need to purchase that. Or maybe I see a shirt that I like for 20 bucks, so I spend $20 on it. But maybe that's just every other month, like it might not be recurring. So Shelves, I got that from IKEA, $31.92. As you can see, the Acorn payments here, the gas bill, super cheap, $307. I bought some mounting tape, so that was work from home to help with wire management. And then we see some HDMI cords, so that was part of the, work from home reimbursement thing. Hopefully I can get that reimbursed. I haven't submitted the forms yet, so hopefully I'm able to, take advantage of those benefits. Got some tacos for $11.89, so that's food. Parking, luckily parking in Seattle is actually pretty cheap. It's like 50 cents an hour, so yeah, this was like maybe 4 hours of parking somewhere over a weekend. More IKEA stuff, so I think I bought some fake plants, so that was from IKEA. I think the shelves I actually got from Amazon, not IKEA, but so then here is where the bakery stuff starts. So as you'll probably see, I think I counted up, ended up spending like $50 at a bakery right next to my house, but trust me, it's literally so good. Like, best coffee I've ever had. If you watched in my day in the life video, I actually walk there as part of the day in the life and get some pastries. It's so good. Probably the best coffee I've ever had also. Let's see what else we got here. So this was also potential reimbursement. So I spent $63 on a mouse. I'm not sure. It is a gaming mouse, so I don't know. Maybe they'll reimburse it. I can always give it a shot. So groceries, so these are just like intermittent groceries, like if I run out of milk. So $26.55, another Acorn investment, bakery $2.90. Again, random groceries, I think here. Bakery, again, $4, Acorns. Internet bill, only $12.49. So again, splitting utilities and splitting rent definitely makes stuff cheaper. CVS, like random stuff, miscellaneous, $7.40. Parking again, miscellaneous. Groceries, food, you can all see it here. Acorns, bakery. So I was like going to the bakery a lot, and that's like a thing. I feel like I like treat myself a little bit. So work from home, you don't get to walk anywhere. You don't get to do anything. So I feel like if I go to the bakery a couple times a week, I get a little bit of walk, like in the middle of work, if I want to go get a coffee or if I want to get a pastry. It's also paying for sort of the experience of just like getting out of the house and seeing people, I guess. So I kind of justify it in that sense. More groceries, so more HDMI cords, because basically what I have to do is I have to like plug in my laptop to a docking port and then have the docking port plug into both my monitors. But then I also have my like regular PC that I don't use for work that also has to plug into the two monitors. So I needed like HDMI switches, HDMI cords in order to switch between the inputs. So that's pretty much what that was for. Shirt, I bought a Microsoft shirt as a part of starting work. So here is another utilities. This is probably the biggest one. So it includes water, sewage, and trash, $91.88. Groceries, more $46.73. Acorns. So another big purchase, I guess big, was my haircut was $44, which I felt like was a bit much. Like, I remember growing up, my haircut was like 15 bucks or something like that. But for some reason, I've noticed that, and in California too, like my haircuts were just so expensive. Obviously, I want to give a good tip too. So I think like just the flat price was like, I don't know, $37 or something like that, $35. Amazon Prime Video, for some reason they charge me, so maybe I can get that back, was $10. Food, floss mouthwash, again, miscellaneous, Spotify. So medicine, I did have to purchase just some like random medicine that I needed, so that was $23. Microsoft hoodie I got for $44, so that's again in the miscellaneous. And then another non-recurring thing is like driver's license, so I had to switch my residency from California to Washington, so that was about $100 just to get the license. I also need to register my car, so that'll be another thing. So some more groceries. As you can see, bakery, ice cream. Those 3 days probably wasn't eating the healthiest, but you know, what are you gonna do? Groceries. So this was like, this grocery purchase kind of ties into the next month, so this current month. So the groceries I bought at the end of September are still lasting me, so it's kind of split. I didn't need to put the whole purchase in September, but I did anyway. Last Acorns investment, some more medicine, urgent care here. it wasn't really urgent. I didn't have to go to the hospital, but it was just sort of like a indigestion thing. Don't worry, it wasn't nothing serious. I just wanted to get it checked out, so it was just a $40 copay. And luckily, with my job, I get a lot of benefits. So, you know, like all my insurance is paid for. I don't have to contribute anything to insurance. So if we're adding everything up, let me see how much I spent in a month, including the $3,000 loan payment. So if we add it all up, we see that I paid, or my total spending for the month of September 2020 was $5,277.39. So that's how much I spent in the month of September. So don't worry, I'm not taking on extra credit card loans or anything like that to pay for that, and I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I live pretty comfortably, and as I said, I'm trying to pay off my student loan very aggressively, so that's why I'm paying so much per month just to do that. Now, this is just my monthly spending, and there are definitely a lot of areas I could improve, like spending $50 at a bakery right next to my house. Again, I am not a finance expert in any capacity. I have an interest in it, but I didn't really like study it, or I don't know too much about it. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are interested in stuff like that, I highly suggest checking out Graham Stephan's channel. I've learned a lot from him. I wish he told me to give him a shout out, but he didn't. I'm just giving you that because I think his channel is pretty good at giving advice. Please comment down below any personal finance advice you have for me or just other people. I always like reading about like little finance hacks that people have. So honestly, do comment that down because I could use it, I guess, and a lot of other people could use it. If you like the video, consider liking it to help your boy out with the YouTube algorithm. If you like career advice, college advice, tech and computer science topics, consider subscribing to the channel for all that sorts of content. Even if you just like bad British accents from your boy over here, you could also give the video a like and the channel or subscribe. Tune into some of my past videos and tune into some of my future videos. My future self would thank you dearly. That's it. I'll see you guys in a future one, hopefully. Bye-bye.